Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm with my friend Dave Perrotta here. Travels the world, awesome dude, good friend, and I wanted to talk to you about because we were talking about. He had a cool name for it called income arbitrage, and that's like you make money, U.S. money if you're in America, you make U.S. money online, but you use that money in other countries to obviously pay your expenses and live life. And we were calling it a life hack almost. And I didn't know much about it as he did, so I just kind of wanted to put a video together talking about the basics behind that, and pretty much how to do it. What it exists. Yes, Dave's done it for a couple years now, and I just wanted him to talk more to you guys about it and how it works. So, what's the fundamentals behind this thing? How would you consider this? Like, if you're explaining it to a newcomer, how would you explain this?
Well, so like the basics of income arbitrage are basically, all right, you make money in the U.S. You make U.S. money in a foreign country where the dollar is worth a lot more than it is in the U.S. Right?
Yep.
So in the last few years, I lived in Colombia and Vietnam. I lived in Spain as well, but more specifically in Colombia and Vietnam, the dollar is worth a ton there, right? Like in Colombia, it's like a dollar there is worth like probably like two or three times more than what it is in the U.S. Right, so you can get a sick apartment, you can get awesome lunches, awesome dinners for like a third of the price, or even less than you would get it for in the U.S. So a dollar just goes a really long way. Right, so it ends up being a lot cheaper to travel the world and kind of do what you want to do than it is to live in the U.S. Right, but a lot of people think it's more expensive, but it's just not. If you do it the right way, it can be a lot cheaper. And of course, you go to a place like Spain, the dollar is a little bit worth less than the euro. So it's not, but it's still like Europe is still cheaper than the U.S. too. So it's still even a little bit there. Like you get $1 beers, like $1 tapas in Spain. So it's not too bad there either. But yeah, that's pretty much the basis of income arbitrage, right? But then how do you set that up where you can make money online while you're in a different country and still make U.S. money, right? From there it comes to, well, for me, it was like I'm gonna build a skill, and that's for me. There's a bunch of different skills you can build, right? Like, Ron, you do like SEO, like you did all this kind of digital marketing stuff, right? For me, it was copywriting, basically writing email marketing, writing sales pages, writing content. I taught myself that within a couple months. Like, this is like 2 3 years ago, and from there, I just started picking up clients, use it to build my blog. I have a dating blog too, and then everything just kind of compounded for me to be able to make income online while I'm traveling, just kind of doing whatever. So
But why? Like, what? There's before. There's always like a why. I always like to know why people do things before they get into it. And if you tell anyone this, they're gonna think you're crazy. But there's a why behind that crazy. Like there's a good behind it. There's a good reason. And like I'm interested in doing this as well. I know my why, but I want to hear your why. What made you say, forget the U.S., forget this normal. I'm gonna travel. I'm gonna have some. You're telling me some cool experiences, man. You meet amazing people when you leave the U.S. and you were just telling me all about that. So, what made you say, I'm gonna do this? What made you take that leap? Because it's a leap. You're leaving the country. You're in a different part of the world. You don't know anybody really. What made you do that?
well, yeah, man, I guess it came down to a few different things, right? Like part of it was a thirst for adventure and freedom. Like I wanted to be able to go travel, kind of do whatever I want. I wanted to own my time. Right? When I was a kid, I was working for these 9 to 5 jobs, or working as I worked as like a dishwasher, like a fry cook in college, and I always request time off, and like I request specific days off because I had a date with a girl or something like that, and then they would never give me the days off. I would get super pissed. I was like, "Fuck this." And I would just quit. I'd get super pissed and I would quit. It's like I wanted my time and I wanted my freedom. So that was part of it, right? And I've always loved adventure as well. Just kind of not knowing what's gonna happen next. Just kind of like throwing yourself into some crazy circumstances and sort of just like seeing what happens. I think what usually happens is something good comes out of it. You learn like a bunch of lessons from it, and it's awesome, right? So that was part of it. Another part of it was being able to surround yourself with awesome people. Right. The funny thing about living in a place like Colombia or Vietnam, and keep in mind, I like strategically chose these places because I knew a couple people in each of these places, and I knew there was going to be an awesome crew there of entrepreneurs, travelers, stuff like that for me to connect with. So I knew that I could kind of go there and plug into these environments of awesome people, and through that, like I was gonna like learn a ton and become better too, and kind of get closer to my goals. So I think it was a combination of those two things. I also just wanted to experience the world, right? Just maybe learn a little Spanish, just have fun, just kind of live a sort of life that, you know, at the time, you know, I couldn't afford in the U.S. because you're literally like living like a king in these other countries. I live in like penthouse apartments, going out to these big like fancy dinners at 5-star restaurants, just enjoying it, and you just really don't have to worry about how much you're spending.
What's crazy is me and Dave were talking before this, and he was talking to me about numbers. He's like, "Yo, tell me your numbers, blah blah blah," and I was asking him like specific numbers because there's a huge like I realize there's a huge kind of like incorrect bias towards living outside the U.S. I'm American, so a lot of Americans or anybody, they think it costs a lot of money to travel. You know, I had this like kind of bias that, oh, it's going to cost like this amount to travel. It's going to cost a lot of money. But when he actually broke down the numbers to me, it's actually cheaper to travel than to stay here. Like I actually save money not being here. And I found that interesting. Like you were telling me about a guy who lived off, you know, $1,000 a month less in another foreign country, and that's amazing, dude. Yeah. So there's talk a little bit about just the bias behind, you know, like the dollar obviously is more in these other countries, but how specific are we looking at? Like how much, you know, you just said penthouse, like these things are in your reach easily, you know?
Yeah, well, here's the thing, right? I think people think that it's more expensive because when they go on vacations and stuff like that, it's like, oh, like they look at these places for vacation, they got to pay all this money, they go in these resorts, and they buy the flights, and it's all this, like, it's just all these expenses. It's like, oh, like, to ever do that would be so much money, right? But then, for example, what I just did is, when I was in Medellin, Medellin, Colombia, I bought a plane ticket to Boston and then a plane ticket to Mexico, which total would have been less than $500. Like, the plane ticket from Boston to Mexico was, like, less than $200, which is crazy, right? Like a one-way ticket. But I actually get them all for free because of airline miles, which is another like life hack. Like you should definitely get like a Chase Sapphire preferred airline mile card because that's if you're not doing that, you're just wasting money. And otherwise, in terms of like how much I was spending in Colombia, like we had an awesome 17-story apartment. We had a rooftop pool, sauna, gym inside the place, and it was It was 2-bedroom. We were paying $650 a month each U.S. So we had a view of the whole entire city. Like we had like a 24-hour door guy, lived next to like all like the best bars and clubs. So it's just pretty much exactly what you'd want in a sort of a lifestyle for $650 a month. And we had maids and stuff too. Like we had maids who came through, cleaned once a week for two maids, but they cleaned for like 2 hours and it was $6.
I don't want to laugh at them, but I'm just saying because, like, you know, when you $6 here gets you, I don't even want to go to that direction, but it's just insane. This is real, you know. You literally. I mean, I think you have to kind of find a way to get a skill first, and obviously have some kind of entrepreneurship, some kind of freelancing before you do that. But nonetheless, it's something. What really, I'm definitely going to do this. I know I am. I'm just picking out a date. But what really made this attractive for me was the fact that you can pick how long you want to be outside the U.S. Like, you don't have to do, like, a 6-month lease thing. Like, you can do, like, it's very flexible.
Yeah, it's just all through Airbnb. Like, I don't really realize how I know Airbnb really well because I use it so much, but I guess not a lot of people do use it as much because
I don't.
But so you go to these places like in Mexico. I'm going to Playa del Carmen, which is like this beach town right outside of Cancun. It's like a little bit less touristy, so it's less annoying and kind of like more authentic Mexican. I'm going there in 2 weeks, and we didn't have to like scour out a place in Craigslist or like, you know, we're not gonna have to go walking in the streets trying to find a spot. We just go through Airbnb, pick out there's a whole bunch of places there. We pick out our price range, and then we rent it out for a month, and we do it from month to month from there. We don't have to worry about any kind of lease or anything like that. So it's pretty simple. And pretty much any major city in the world is going to have Airbnb too, so you don't really have to worry about that.
And also too, like with culture, I know there's different cultures in different cities. So is that something like you look up before you go, or is it better to just figure it out while you're there from the locals? Because I know from what you were telling me, it's like everywhere is different, and it's kind of important to kind of understand that, you know, everywhere is different. You know, not what's one thing that's accepted in one place isn't the same in another. So, like, just talk about like how you deal with that, or what, like, do you prepare yourself for it, or are you just used to it? It's just something that you're just, you know, used to just from traveling so much. How do you kind of deal with that obstacle?
I mean, in terms of like preparing for it, you can hear what other people say about it. You can listen to their stories and stuff, but you gotta understand too that everyone has their own bias, right? So like what people tell you about a place, that's their experience, right? And your experience might not be that. So you can listen to it and you can, all right, like, that's cool, but then you should also experience it yourself too, and then make your own judgments on it. So you shouldn't kind of go in with all these like presumptions about what it's gonna be like. Just kind of like, I think it's more powerful to kind of go in, kind of knowing that stuff, but then be ready to kind of, you know, take your own experiences there and like really learn it for yourself, because what you experience might be different than, you know, what someone else experiences. So I think like that firsthand knowledge is going to be good. In terms of the differences, yeah, like for example in Colombia, like so for example like in terms of dating, like one night stands are really sort of like looked down upon in Colombia. It's just the culture, it just isn't really. It's just not bent towards one night stands, right?
Is it looked up in Europe, or is it still the same?
Well, I don't even know. I don't think "look down upon" is the right word, right? It's just not. It's not culturally.
The thing.
It's just not culturally the thing, right? Because in Colombia, people really value like friendship, family, and stuff like that, right? And if you're not part of their friend group and they don't know you that well, they don't want to have sex with you. Right? That's just what it is, right? Insane, yeah. But I mean, it actually doesn't even sound that insane, right? It sounds kind of normal, but in the U.S., people just fuck everything. Yeah, like nobody gives a fuck in America. It's so ingrained in Colombian culture that it's just so you go on like a couple dates with a girl before you would try to take her home, or sometimes you can, but it's just like it's different, right? And you learn that as you go. Of course, experience it for yourself first. Don't just listen to me, but. But yeah, so there's always like different things like that in the culture that you kind of come to see the more you stay in a place. So yeah.
So you know, Dave has a dating blog, pretty big blog. I watch your Snapchat all the time, almost every day. You know, when I'm on Snapchat, I try to watch like you, Ty, a couple guys. So what's the best way to reach you and follow you? Because I watch your stuff, so I know everyone watching this is probably gonna watch it too.
Cool. It's so on Snapchat, it's at Dave Perrotta, so DaveProt. My nickname back in high school, Dave, like Perrotta. Yeah. Yeah. And in terms of my blog, it's postgradcasanova.com. And my Instagram is at gradcasanova. Same thing with Twitter. And yeah, I post once a week. Sometimes I put a couple guest posts up there. I start doing a lot of YouTube videos as well. So check it out. Definitely some good dating stuff and lifestyle and travel stuff as well.
So damn, man, great advice here. If anyone's looking to like travel and get them new experiences, them life experiences, traveling the world while still getting paid online, this guy's the guy to do it. He's one of the first people I've seen do it. Literally, and it's inspiring, all the stories I hear. You don't get all the stories. You can watch some of them on Snapchat though. But definitely check his stuff out. I'll see you guys later, and have a wonderful day.